Good morning everyone, this is Zero, and today we're going to be talking about how to properly use Teemo Shrooms. So, there are a few things you can do with them. You can use them as wards, which is always a good idea. Although these bushes, it's moderately difficult to use. However, if you wanted to ward, let's say, Tribush, we'll head up that way. You can easily ward Tribush with them. Because the problem is their hitbox will cover probably about here, here, and here. Which is just about where anyone would go, except I missed. It should have been right there. Right, so just about anybody that comes down this way, they might be able to scoop by this. So look, if I come through this way, yeah, he hits it for sure. He withers me, but doesn't really matter. Okay, so that's one way to do that. This bush is also easy to ward because you put one in here, anybody that goes in this bush is going to hit it for sure. Same with all the tri-bushes and short bushes like that. However, this bush, right here, functions a little bit differently, and this one, of course, is a monster because you can't see it no matter what. You have to put three. You have to put one here, here, and here, because if you put one here, they just walk through on this side. So you got to make sure it depends on the game whether it's worth it or not to shroom this. It's always good to throw one in just in case, but to shroom it as a ward, it does take a lot more to get vision. Also, a good spot to shroom is here and here. Now, of course, this is for mid lane right now. Now, other good spots to shroom are not here. You don't want to shroom anywhere minions are going to go. So you actually want to shy away from, like, probably over to out here. On both sides there. Because if you do that, minions will hit it, and you're in your shroom. Because if I put a shroom right there, that minion's going to hit it. Of course, that was a little bit over erratic because I put it right on top of the minion. But they were going to come down there no matter what. However, if I put a shroom right here, and a shroom right here, that's likely where a champion's going to go. Come back here, you turd. I need you. Should have gotten an actual player. What?
Yes, sir.
Diet. He's still gonna run away. Whatever. Yeah. So what an actual champion's gonna do is they're gonna come down this way, whereas minions will almost never go down there unless they're dragged by you or by your jungle. So that's pretty much where you want to put your shrooms mid lane. It doesn't hurt also to put them here and here, because that keeps you from getting ganked in the lanes. And if you have these warded, which you always should, you should be all right. Now let's talk about where else to ward or to shroom on the map. You can also use shrooms to clear waves. So let's say I'm kind of in a pinch. I want to group the wave together a little bit. I'll put the shroom right there. There we go, and I poisoned everything. So that's going to clear the wave incredibly fast because it does do 220 magic damage. We'll talk about increasing that later. Other good spots to shroom. We talked about these ones here. If you're top, it's good to shroom kind of down this way because you will always, you'll notice a lot of fights will happen down there. Oh, piss off. A lot of fights will happen down there. Other good spots to shroom are all three of these bushes. If you're top, you want to keep all three of those shroomed because that is where their jungle will go when you beat them, or that is where somebody will try to telegank you. Like, it's just, you need to have those shroomed. It's not like mid. It's not really an option. You got to keep those shroomed. Another good spot to shroom is right here because that's usually going to be your flight path. You'll want to avoid running away on this side because the jungle is going to come up through. So it's kind of where you want to keep shroom top. And if you push past that point, you just want to keep the tri-bushes shroomed. You want to keep active lanes of use. So instead of warding this, you would want to ward right here, or you would want to shroom right there. Because there's a chance they're going to come in here. When they take blue, they'll go through this for sure. But if they come up top at all, they will go through this. See how it grants vision? Just one sec. See how it grants a little tiny bit of vision? You can actually see everything in there. So they can't get through that lane. Now let's come down here.
Yes, sir.
And we can put one right there, and it will give us vision too. So we now have vision of everybody coming top unless they gank through the lane. So you should be good. Meanwhile, you can still put shrooms everywhere else. So same bot lane, you want to keep, actually you want to shroom there, 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 and there. Now, here's the thing. Why do you not just plop them all together? Why do you not put 3 shrooms on top of each other? Well, there's one main reason, because you're not going to do anything with them. So a shroom is different than most other abilities, and the fact that if I walk into, if those were not my shrooms, I was and I hit those, now what's going to happen is they're both going to go off at roughly the same time. It may be a millisecond off, but let's just say they go off at the same time. One of them is going to do something, because they do no straight up damage, right? So there is no, okay, so uses a stored shroom to place a trap that detonates if an enemy steps on it. Slows their movement speed by 30%, and deals 220 magic damage over 4 seconds. So here's the thing. That magic damage happens over 4 seconds. There is no immediate damage. So what happens if you pop 2 shrooms at once, you only take damage from 1. So even though they walked into 2 shrooms, they're only going to be slowed by 30%, and they're only going to take 220 damage, or depending on the exact placement, they might take 1 more tick, so another 50 damage or so, give or take. So that's not really worth it. What you want to do is, let's say you know they're coming up this way. So let's go. So it's 23. Actually, it doesn't matter because their movement speed slowed. So if you're slowed by 30%, the next shroom you're going to need is about there. So they'll get shroomed here, and if they decide to continue chasing, they're going to hit this one right about the time the other one wears off, and they will continue ticking that damage. But let's say you put it right here. They'll tick this for 2 seconds, or 1 second, or whatever it takes them to get here, and then they'll hit this one, and it'll start ticking again. So you only get 6 seconds instead of 8 seconds of damage. So that's not efficient right there. You don't want to do this. You don't ever want to clump them that close together. Right? Sometimes in the bushes down here, you'll put them on both ends, and you'll get like 3 seconds of tick, but it just depends. Normally you don't want to put them too close, because I see people do that all the time. They'll put 3 shrooms right there, and then somebody will walk into it, and it won't do anything. It'll just do 1 shroom's worth of damage, but they've wasted the opportunity to have 2 extra vision wards out, or 2 extra damage dealing shrooms. Like, they're really good. Now let's say you want to deal more damage. Aside from getting straight more AP, since you have like an 80% scaling on the shrooms, which is ridiculous, your first item for damage, instead of AP, you're going to want Leandries, because it's going to give you that 62 damage, but it's also going to give you here's why they synergize so well. Here's how Leandries works. It gives you Magic Pen, which is nice. We'll ignore that. It does 2% of the target's current health per second. The big thing is this bonus is doubled against movement impaired units and it doesn't matter that it's capped against monsters. So for 3 seconds you do 2% damage of their current health. So you do 6% of their current health, give or take. It works out being like 5.5. But if you slow them, you're doing like 10 to 12% of their current health, because you tick down a little health, so it doesn't do quite as much damage in the second tick. But you're doing more damage. You're doing 12% of their damage. So to this Nasus, I'm going to do 120, or like 150 from Leandries, and I'm going to do 250 from my actual shroom. So I'm going to walk over here. Oh, I missed. No. Eat shrooms. So let's just watch how much that chunks Nasus. So see the Leandries ticking because he's slowed? It does so much damage, it's not even funny. The other thing that's good about Leandries is your E does magic damage. So see how fast he's burning down? Because Leandries is just taking him down. So you definitely want to get Leandries if you're planning on killing people with shrooms. Now here's another one you need to keep warded. Or shroomed, we'll say. So I hope this guide has been useful. I think we've covered everything to do with shrooms. Just make sure you don't stack them. If you want to do damage with them, build the Leandries first, and then AP, maybe some Magic Pen. And the slow on them will just ruin people's day, and you'll be an even more efficient Teemo, which means everybody will rage and quit the game. Thanks for watching. Questions, comments, rude remarks, throw them down below, and I look forward to playing with you soon.